morning. Welcome to Smaravel's Country Bakery. I'm glad you could join us today. Today we're going to be making rhubarb pie. Now don't be afraid. Making pie from scratch is not difficult. And we're going to do a rhubarb pie because that's kind of the first fruit, or I consider it fruit. I don't know if it is a fruit, but I'm going to call it a fruit. First fruit that's really available in the season. So really simple. We've got our crust ready. If you're not good at making pie crust, go ahead. Pick one up at the store, refrigerator section, freezer section, that's fine. Really easy to do. Got one egg. We're going to take the egg and just going to whip it together like this. Get it all broken up. Basically a rhubarb pie is a custard pie. So we're going to add in 3 tablespoons of flour. And we're going to add 1.25 cups of sugar. And we're going to mix it together. It's going to look kind of dry. Now, today I'm using frozen rhubarb, and which is fine. You can use frozen rhubarb if rhubarb is ready. It's a little early yet, not quite ready. My man George, the rhubarb guy, shout out to you, George. George, the rhubarb guy, will be calling soon. If you don't have rhubarb, you can find it at the store, or find a neighbor, or go for a ride in the country. Odds are someone's going to have rhubarb. Rhubarb is almost like zucchini. People are always willing to get rid of it. All right, so we got the flour, the sugar, and the egg. We're going to throw just a drop or two of red coloring. Don't have to if you don't want to. It's just that without the coloring, the rhubarb is kind of, the rhubarb pie kind of turns out anemic. And people kind of always assimilate rhubarb and red. So we're just going to kind of mix that together. Got that blended in there. Got kind of a paste. Like I said, a rhubarb pie is pretty much a custard pie. You got your flour, your sugar, and your egg. And then the flour is going to be your thickening agent. All right. Like I said, I've got our rhubarb, which George, our rhubarb guy, hooked this up with last year, cut it up, and we froze it. And this is about 5 cups of rhubarb. You're going to toss that rhubarb in. We're going to get it mixed up. Rhubarb is still frozen. If you're using frozen rhubarb or frozen fruit, you know, I always suggest you kind of take it while it's just starting to begin to thaw. It gives you just enough moisture. Otherwise, you might have too much when you're in the mixing process. And that's looking perfect. Nice little pink hue to that. All right, now we've got our crust over here. We're going to take a little bit of water. We're going to water the edge of our crust. Like I said, don't be afraid of making pies. You know, it's an easy task to do, and quite frankly, if you're making pies, if you're baking anything at home, no matter how it turns out, your family is going to be happy that you did it. And if they complain, then you hand the rolling pin over to them. Make it a baking challenge. So there we go. Egg, flour, sugar, 5 cups of fresh rhubarb from who? George the rhubarb guy. Right in Howard there. Okay, we've got our top crust rolled out. And what we're going to do, we're just going to fold it over. And we're going to put a couple cuts. You want to vent the crust on top. And bring that over. And then you're going to crimp it, sealing that crust in with the bottom crust. My wife taught me how to do this. She used to be a wizard at the old John Nero's restaurant, cranking out pies upon pies upon pies. So there we have it. Then now you don't have to egg wash it, don't have to water it. I just come back and I throw some sugar on top like that. Rhubarb pie is awesome hot, awesome cold, delicious with ice cream, and always best the first day because there's not any left over. So here you go. your rhubarb pie. You can add strawberries in, make it strawberry rhubarb pie. It's going to go into the oven, 375, probably about an hour. Be careful, you might want to put a cooking sheet underneath it to catch the juice when the juice starts bubbling out. And here we have our finished product, and who's not going to want a chunk of that?